guys, how are you? This is Loise. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and healthy wherever you are. It's a beautiful day in Calgary. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. You know, summer is upon us, so it's so nice you want to be here. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. Today, I am doing part 3 of the series we've been having, that is the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. We've already done part 1 and 2, so before you watch this video, you just want to make sure that you watch the previous 2 videos. The first one was about the overall program, that is the Atlantic Immigration Pilot. Okay, the eligibility and a lot of things that you need to know that are going to apply in each of the 3 classes that I'm talking about. And then we talked about the high skilled program, so that is for high skilled workers. And today we are doing video part 3, which is about the Atlantic Intermediate Skilled Program. And just like the name says, this one is looking for intermediate skilled workers. Okay, but there is a lot that you need to understand for this category, because a lot of the things here are very specific, so I urge you to pay attention. Okay, right, so you're going to see that just like the other class, you need to meet the 5 eligibility options or requirements, and these requirements are work experience, they are education, there is language, there is proof of funds, and then there is a job offer. You must meet those 5. So we are gonna go through this just so that we understand exactly what is required in each of those categories. So work experience for this class is quite specific, okay, because these people, they want you to have of course they want you to have at least 1 year of work experience in the last 3 years. Okay, we know that. Okay, but this work experience is very specific, and it comes in 2 options. So option 1 is that your work experience, that 1 year in the last 3, must have been in a NOC level C job. Okay, a NOC level C job, and there is so many jobs under NOC level C. I just want to see if I can just give you a few. Some of these examples for NOC level C, they are industrial butchers, they are long haul truck drivers, food and beverage servers, industrial sewing machine operators, fabric, fur and leather cutters, textile fabricant. You know, there's a lot of these things, so you just want to make sure you go through the NOC skill C jobs to see exactly where you fall under, because I cannot go through this list, it's quite a long list. Okay, other examples are like, you know, lumber graders and other wood processing inspectors and graders, you know, woodworking machine operators, etc, etc. There's a lot of these jobs under NOC skill C, right? So check whether you fall under that NOC skill C. Anyway, let's go ahead. So your work experience must have been under NOC skill C. What is the requirement for NOC skill C? This is a type of a job that usually requires that you either have a high school education or you have a job specific training. Okay, that is the requirement, the education requirement for a NOC skill C. Okay, all right, so that is option 1. Option 1, we said work experience under a NOC skill C. Option 2, this is where it gets interesting. Option 2 requires that you have work experience is either one of the 2, and the first one is a registered nurse or a registered psychiatric nurse, and that is NOC skill level A, and it's a NOC code 3012. Okay, that is one, part 1 of option 2. The other one that you can be is a licensed practical nurse, and that is a NOC skill B. Okay, and that NOC skill B, it's NOC code 3233. In this option 2, you also need to have a job offer as either of these 2, and the first one is either a nurse aide, orderly, or patient services associate, which is a NOC C and NOC code 3413. Okay, are we together there? Okay, or the other one, in your job offer, it could be a home support worker, which is a NOC C, and the NOC code for that is 4412. Okay, so that is option 2, and you're going to find that option 2 for work experience makes this program very appealing to nurses. A lot of people in healthcare who can fall under these two categories, that is nurses, psychiatric nurses, licensed practical nurses, they find that this program is quite attractive. And I know a lot of people tell me there's a lot of high demand of nurses in Nova Scotia. It's not just in Nova Scotia, it's in the 4 Atlantic provinces that participate under this pilot program, because they have this one specific program that actually needs work experience for these nurses. Okay, all right, so I got you there. So we are done with work experience. So let's go to education. So what level of education is needed for this AISP program? You don't need a lot of education, I mean high education. Okay, as we say, this program does attract people who don't necessarily have the masters and all that, you know, PhD and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so the education needed for this is either a Canadian high school or post-secondary credential from a recognized education institution here in Canada, or if you have a foreign credential, it should be an equivalent to either a degree, a diploma, or a certificate. So just make sure that you have your ECA ready and that your ECA is valid. Yes, ECAs do expire after 5 years. So just make sure that your ECA is not about to expire or it's still valid. Okay, all right. We are done with education, so now we want to look at language. Again, this program, this whole pilot doesn't require a lot of high language abilities. So you're going to find that the requirements for this are just the usual AIP language abilities, which is at least a CLB4 in all abilities. Okay, again, I have told you time and again, don't just aim for the lowest, go higher. Okay, right, number 4 is proof of funds. Yes, you must show that you have funds to support you and your family when you arrive in Canada. And the funds here are family size dependent. Okay, yes, the funds are family size dependent. There is an exemption there. If you're already working in Canada under a valid work permit, you're not going to have to show that you have proof of funds. If you want to know just how much money you need for this program, please refer to the part 1 video that I talked about funds per the number of people in the family. Okay, all right, number 5, which is the last eligibility requirement, is you get yourself a job. Yes, you need to get yourself a job in the 4 provinces, and this job, make sure that it's an eligible job for this class. It must be in those 4 provinces, one of the 4 provinces, and it must be from a designated employer. Remember, we talked about designated employers, and we attached the list of the designated employers under the first video, so please look at the description part of that video and see the list of designated employers. We said that the fact that we've put that list there doesn't mean that those employers are hiring, okay? But you need to check up with them from time to time to see the kind of jobs they are putting out there and whether you qualify for them and whether those jobs qualify for this program. Okay, then this job that you get, the other conditions of this job is that it must be full-time, it must not be a seasonal job. Okay, and it can be either in NOC O, A, B, or C NOC, and this job, it must be permanent with no end date. It cannot be a contract. So it must be permanent, and there is no end date attached to that job for it to qualify under this class. Okay, of course, when you're doing that job interview, you must meet the employment requirements of the job offer, and the job doesn't need to be in the same NOC as your previous jobs. Okay, so those 5 now, we've already tackled those. You need to sit down, evaluate, look at your resume. If you need help with your resume, streamlining your resume, making it a Canadian standard, checking things to make sure that you're giving yourself the best shot for a job, because believe you me, your first point of getting that job is that resume, and employers don't have the whole day to look at your resume. They have very few minutes to look at your resume and see whether it's selling. So if you need that professional help, reach out to us. Of course, it's at a fee, so reach out to us and or get our services on that. Whatever services you want, whether it's your application, we can help you with your application. The only thing that I tell people, I do not place people at jobs. No, I don't do that job placement. I don't have that capacity, but I do help people look for jobs. It's part of my services that I offer to the clients who retain my services. I help them look for jobs. I know where to apply. We apply for them. We help them with interviews. We track everything. We track jobs for them. So that is the kind of services that we do. But we don't do that job placement. No, we don't do recruitment per se. Okay, all right, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I said number 4 is coming up, and I saved the best for last. That is because that is my favorite, and that favorite of mine is the Atlantic International Graduate Program. Okay, so you want to stay here because you will know why that is my favorite. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day. I hope you enjoy. It's so beautiful here. I just want to get out. Okay, bye guys. See you.